Hello. So, what we're going to do today in the classroom is we're going to look at what happened in 1513. So, 1513, of course, is the year of Henry VIII's Great Expedition, but it also sees what some have argued is a more significant and a better victory over the Scots at Flodden Field. So, it's not until 1513, so 1513 is the year of the Great Expedition, that Henry leads his great expedition of 30,000 troops into France. And whilst there, Henry achieves some success, limited success, although obviously he plays this up as a major success and is able to portray himself as a warrior king afterwards. So he successfully manages to capture the battles of Tournai and Terouanne, and there is a French force defeated at the Battle of the Spurs. So this is a skirmish between English and French troops where the French spurred their horses so quickly that it becomes known as the Battle of the Spurs. In the same year, in 1513, the Scots are defeated at Flodden Field by the Earl of Surrey's men. This is a significant victory because the Scottish King James IV is killed, and this basically clears the path for a new Scottish king, James V. James V is a child, so his mother acts as his regent, and James V's mother is James IV's widow, who is Margaret Tudor. So the situation in Scotland changes very much in Henry's favour in 1513 as well. So Henry plays them off as a success, but they did come at a cost in a number of ways. The first way was financial, so the cost of the wars was enormous. The vast fortune that Henry VII had accumulated over a number of years was just wiped out in 4 years, in the first 4 years of Henry VIII's reign. Not only was the huge cost of the Great Expedition and the war against Scotland, but he now had 2 French towns which he had to keep. He had to maintain those towns to ensure that they wouldn't be recaptured. So the price was the first negative, the first drawback of the successes of the Great Expedition. The second was that these successes would mean that Henry would continue to look at foreign policy as the sort of priority with regards to his reign. So it sets the tone for the next 15 years of Henry VIII's reign. His foreign policy was expensive, it was flamboyant. Even in peacetime, he spent an absolute fortune on foreign policy, organising expensive pageants, parades, and we'll see this we'll see this come to a head with the Field of Cloth of Gold in 1520, which is expensive, it's flamboyant, but it achieves nothing. 1513 is also important. So thirdly, 1513 is important because it changes the way that England is governed. So Henry VII altered the way that England was governed. There was the creation of very few dukes and earls. What Henry VIII presides over after 1513 is the greatest list of creations of dukes and earls over the last 50 years. And the last point, finally, Thomas Wolsey emerges as a key figure because of this. Thomas Wolsey becomes known by many circles as the Alter X, the other king. Thomas Wolsey emerges as the king's chief minister, and he does this because he allows Henry to break free of people like Archbishop Wareham and Bishop Fox, and he is the man who organises, and it is a huge administrative task organising for 30,000 men to travel and invade France. So we see the emergence of Thomas Wolsey, an administrator of such brilliance that despite these humble origins of butcher's son, as he was claimed he was, he emerges as an individual more powerful than any of these new creations to the nobility. So that is the impact of the Great Expedition.